Welcome back to Newswatch Tuesday. Thanks for sticking around for sports. I'm Alex Barth. Let's get to it. Going into this weekend, it had been 6 years since Hartwick won a game of football against Ithaca College. That was back in 2007. To put that in perspective, this year's seniors were sophomores in high school, and the sophomores on this year's team were in middle school. Since joining the Empire 8 in 2002, Hartwick has had a reputation of being towards the bottom of the conference in football. But after starting this year 3-0, people began changing their opinion and called the Week 5 matchup with Ithaca a true measuring tape for the Hawks. Let's head out to Oneonta to take a look at the highlights. Here's the team taking their way out onto the field, and it was going to be the Hawks early. John Garcia in the second quarter back to throw, finds Frankie Molina 28 yards in the back of the end zone. That's some arm for a sophomore. Hawks take the early 7-0 lead. 7-0 into halftime, but this is early in the third here, and he's going to find John Horner on the crossing route. That's Garcia's second passing touchdown of the day. 5-yarder puts the Hawks up 14-0, and they said coming into this one, it's all about who gets up first, and the Hawks embrace that. This is the next possession after the ensuing kickoff. Phil has time, but it's not going to be enough as Newman is sacked. The ball's going to come loose, and look at Jason Brown go. Big boy takes it back to the house. 21-0 Hawks, and it looked as if the route was on. Ithaca wasn't done yet, though. We remember they had that big comeback 2 weeks ago against Buffalo State. Here's Garrett Nicholson, finally puts some points on the board. It's going to make it 21-3 off the 33-yard field goal. Bombers get on the board now. Could they mount a comeback as they did against Buffalo State a week ago? Well, Tom Dempsey in the game, Phil Newman out with an apparent injury, and he finds Joel Lynch over the middle, the backup making the most of his playing time. That's an 18-yarder, 21-9. The Bombers would go for two and not pick up the conversion, so it remained a 2-point game. Now later on, Dempsey trying to work the magic over the middle, and it's picked off. That pick would seal it for Hartwick. They would run out the clock, move, and they would take the win 21-9. Hartwick improves to 4-0, and the Bombers fall to 3-1, 1-1 in Empire 8 play. The Bombers finally return home this Saturday for the first time in a month as they host 3-1 Alfred. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. and can be found right here on ICTV. Speaking of Ithaca football, Cortica. That's right, I just said Cortica. Ticket details for the biggest game in Little football were announced today, so if you plan on attending the Jug, get your pen and paper ready. Here are the details. For Ithaca students, faculty, and staff, tickets will be on sale between Sunday, October 27th and Tuesday, October 29th. Tickets can be purchased at the ticket and concession area of the A&E Center on the east exterior concourse facing Higgins Stadium. There's a limit of 1 ticket per student ID and 2 IDs per student, so you can pick one up for a friend. This year's Cortica game is November 16th at Ithaca. For more details and ticket window times, check out bombers.ithaca.edu. Now let's head over to the East Hill, where Jeff Matthews keeps setting records, but they're not amounting to wins for the Big Red. The senior quarterback passed the Ivy League career passing yards mark this week, but it was not enough as the Big Red fell to in-state rival Colgate 41-20. Matthews' last pass of the game put him past former quarterback James Perry and gave the Big Red signal caller 9,303 yards in his collegiate career. On the day, Matthews went 33 for 44 with 351 yards and 2 touchdowns. Matthews also set a new Ivy League mark with his 15th career 300-yard game. The Big Red play again Saturday when they host Harvard at 12:30. Back here on the South Hill now, the Ithaca men's soccer team picked up its first win in almost a month this afternoon as the Bombers topped Hamilton 2-0. Brandon Glass and Alex Leone had the goals for the Bombers. Freshman Sean Forward added an assist. Goalies Kenny Chapman and Jordan Gentili each played a half, had 2 saves apiece. The win snaps a 3-game losing streak, and the Bombers now stand at 2-7 on the season. The team is in action again Saturday as they return to Empire 8 action when they host Elmira. That game will be at 1 o'clock. Now, women's soccer may not have been in action today, but that didn't stop the team from making headlines. After going 1-0 last week with their defeat of number 9 Misericordia, the Bombers were well rewarded, ranked 6th in this week's National Soccer Coaches Association of America national poll. This makes it the second week in a row the Bombers are ranked 6th in that poll. The team is also in the top 10 according to the D3Soccer.com poll, which has them ranked 7th in the nation. A major part of that is goalie Beth Kopalekia. The sophomore has been stellar so far this year, including tying a career high with 7 saves in the win against the Cougars last week. The team will be in action again Saturday when they head to Elmira to take on the Soaring Eagles. More good news for IC athletes. Women's tennis player Christina Nunez has been invited to the 2013 Intercollegiate Tennis Association Small College Championships. Nunez, a graduate student, has been a staple of what has been a very successful women's tennis program here at Ithaca over the past few years. It is the first time an Ithaca player has qualified for singles in the event, and the second time Ithaca will be represented, after the men's doubles team of Taylor Borda and Josh Rifkin in 2009. As for the women's tennis team as a whole, they're 7-0 so far on the season and has shut out 6 of the 7 opponents they've faced.